Hello everybody and welcome to this weekly CYA training. Now thank you to all of you for filling in those feedback forms, incredibly helpful, some really useful comments in there. One of the key pieces of feedback that I got, and I know Richard you're really keen on this, is to ensure that we spend as little time as possible. Now given the CYA regulation is a pretty chunky thing to get through, I've been working on ways that we can get through it more quickly. And what I thought I would do was to invest in some technology that will allow me to deliver my CYA training to you more effectively so we can spend less time. That bit of technology is a teleprompter, so I'm going to use that now, and that means that I can go through. So if you can get your iPads out, I'm just going to start the teleprompter now, and in this particular session we're going to be focusing on the global implications of CYA page 57. As we go through, this is relevant to countries of Germany, Switzerland, Ukraine, Italy, France, the Polynesian Islands, and a number of other places that you'll be able to see by looking in the footnotes. Critical to this particular operation is that you understand this relates to outbound sales only, not inbound sales, because inbound sales are covered by the previous
you know what?
section that we reflected.
I'm glad that I don't have to ask him for permission to turn my audio and video off, because this is crazy. Oh my gosh. You know what? I'm going to finish reading Can You Hear Me? How to Connect with People in a Virtual World. It's a great book, and I clearly, Compliance Christian can use this because he cannot hear me with his new teleprompter.
So Richard, yet another CYA training session ends in glorious failure. How was that for you?
Well, Christian, I think it goes back to a theme that we have addressed before, in that just because the technology exists doesn't necessarily mean that you need to utilize it. And it goes, again, to that theme of the technology should fit your goals, not the other way around. What do you think?
So I agree with that entirely. There's a whole load of kit out there that you can buy, and you and I have been experimenting with this as part of the work that we do for our clients. And so I've actually purchased a genuine teleprompter. Here it is. Great bit of kit under certain circumstances. And those circumstances are when you're doing something pre-recorded. So if I'm recording a webinar that's going to be shown later on, really perfect way of keeping me on script and looking at the camera. But if I'm doing something that's interactive, a teleprompter probably isn't the most helpful bit of kit. And as you can see, it's not exactly small, so it's not something I want permanently installed in my studio setup. Great for the right purposes, so completely agree with you. Speaking of technology and office setups, Richard, I can't help noticing that your background looks slightly different. Those books that I'm really fond of looking at in your bookshelf seem a little bit further away. What's going on?
Very observant, Christian. So as we were sharing, the technology should fit your goals, not the other way around. So sometimes during my presentations, I need to look at some notes, some reminders, some things I don't want to forget. And if I'm sitting right in front of my camera, I'm going to end up looking at the computer like this to review those notes instead of facing in camera like I am right now. So I went ahead and procured a telephoto lens that put an additional 2 or 3 feet between me and the camera, although it's hard to tell because I'm still full frame. And what that allows me to do is, with this handy pointer and clicker, I can go ahead and scroll through those notes, but you can't tell that I'm looking at the computer because I'm a little further away. It looks like I'm speaking right into camera. Again, a way of having the technology fit what our needs are, what our goals are, and how to engage and inspire an audience. And speaking of engaging and inspiring an audience, here is a wonderful book, as we referenced in the CYA training, Can You Hear Me? How to Connect with People in a Virtual World by Nick Morgan. It is a wonderful book about engagement and inspiring in our virtual world, and it kicks us off with a great introduction. We're so more connected than ever, so why do I feel so alone? So Christian, we'll have to add this to our one sheets as now having a list of our best virtual books for our virtual library. Back over to you, Christian.
Totally agree with that. I thoroughly endorse that book. So Richard, in an entirely unscripted way, I'm going to say goodbye from my office and leave you to wave goodbye to our audience from your brand new, even harder to see background office.
Well, I'm sure that Christian will find his way back into that library soon. Stay safe and well, everyone, and thank you for joining us.